one. You already know what it is. It's another Monday. Y'all see who I snuck in the house today? Y'all can call her schoolboy press. I call her executive director. You know what I mean? But really, let's Boogie's mom.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Boogie's mom.
Success is inevitable if you're willing to give up your own self to become someone new, to be the true you. Never be afraid to do you in front of the critics.
It's been a long time. We ain't have her here early enough, but
appreciate the hate. It comes with the winning. When your wife's making the money, you're unstoppable from the beginning. Your excuses are useless. Let your actions be part of the solution and watch the income it produces. Recognize greatness.
Okay, you got bars, Pass.
Don't tell her they don't know. They don't know.
Always makes the dream work.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's another Monday. If you don't have to be perfect. And this week, we have someone special with us in the house. We have school board president. We have executive director of Fine Feather Foundation. But for me, as Boogie's mom, you know, Miss Andrene Nowell.
Thank you for having me, Pass.
Oh, man, it has been a long time coming. And you guys at Fine Feather are doing such amazing work.
Thank you.
You know, I'm probably one of the few people that knew you almost when you first got out here.
Yeah.
Before anyone knew about Fine Feather, you know, and to watch it grow over these 3 years has been amazing. So before we go too far, why don't you tell them what Fine Feather is?
Yeah.
You know, and how'd you get there?
Yes, the Fine Feather Foundation, we're a nonprofit organization and our focus is healing through innovative art. So we found a way to meet students where they are. So we know that students love technology. We know that they love the arts. And right now the arts and technology is taking off into new heights. But we know that right now there's a mental health crisis that's happening. And how do we meet students where they are using innovative tools to address their mental health? So we found a way to do that. We do that through music production, through podcasting, through film, through art, through dance, and all of these things that we do are things that students told us that they were engaged in, that they were interested in. So we took those tools and we utilized it. And I didn't expect it to grow as big as it did. I mean, the first year summer camp, we did it together, and it was 45 students first year. And now I would say we're 5 years in and we're impacting over like 900 children now. It is amazing how this is going, but it just shows that it works, right?
Yes.
If you meet them where they are, it works. If you give them an outlet in a safe space, it works. And I feel like we're seeing the impact because these students that we're supporting, you know, these are students that have behavioral issues. These are students that are challenged when it comes to like expressing themselves. Showing up at school is something that attacks chronic absenteeism because the students know if you want to make your music video or your film, you have to show up to school that day. So they don't play. So we're seeing improvements in all these metrics, but it's because we're addressing the root problem, which is their mental health.
And I love that because this summer this is the first summer I wasn't involved with Fine Feather.
We missed you.
I just unfortunately, you know, as we all grow, it's more responsibilities. Right. So this was a very busy summer. Excited coming out to your end of summer recital and seeing comedy this year. But more importantly, the kids that were comedians were some of the most shyest students. Like I knew those students personally. So to watch, you know, my guy Eddie, and I thank you, to watch my guy Eddie tell a joke. Now, for the viewers, if you don't know, Eddie's an amazing young man who brilliant, but he deals with a social, what's it,
So he
associative
has
disorder,
autism and he has
social emotional disorder.
Yeah.
Yes. So you would never expect him to be able to, and he told his jokes
Listen,
with
he like charismatic and
yes.
like it blew my mind. You know what's so funny? Like I was packing up like some art size and pictures of this from the summer camp and like putting it in the office. And I came across first at Eddie and I was like, oh my God, like he doesn't even look like the same kid anymore. Like he is so much more bolder and brave and stepping out. And I remember the first couple of years, all he would do was play chess with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't want to really engage in much, but we found an outlet of where he would like directly interact, and it was playing chess. To now moving from there to now engaging in podcasting, engaging in art, engaging in comedy. He stood there in front of crowds of folks that he created. He created. So some of the success stories that seeing that's coming out of Pine Feather Excelsior program is these students that come in that are either shy, have massive behavioral issues, or just completely misunderstood, don't have a voice. They're coming out of it year after year, and we're seeing the growth.
And I can definitely be one to attest to the student growth.
Yes.
Eddie's sister, another one.
Yes.
Now she wouldn't sing.
Right.
You know, I have to give her a hard time about singing. Now she's in singing recitals. It's so funny when she did her first singing recital. She's like, Mr. Paz, will you come? And I don't know if it was just me, but I told her mom, I'm like, all I hear is her singing.
Yeah.
She's like, was it just you? Like, no, all I hear is her too. But to see the confidence in these children. And now I'm giving you examples of kids, but I've seen so many kids. Tony Ortiz's son.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
I mean, and now he's stepping into his own, not only as a musician, but also as a photographer,
mm-hmm.
and so many other things. Podcasting.
This year, he actually taught a class. So that's what people don't know. Like these students that's been with us from first year, they are in like a development program that we have. And these kids then become student teachers. And we're empowering them to teach. And not only that, we're making sure they get paid. So they know that there is value in the arts, right? It's entrepreneurship. You can make a living out of being brilliant in the arts.
That is awesome.
And so yeah, this year he stepped out and he was teaching the podcasting class and he was brilliant at
it. And I'm always what I loved this year was it seemed like you had a lot more student teachers this year.
Yes. Yes, this was the year of the youth. That's what we called it.
I love it.
So this year was the year of the youth. The youth actually led the recital. As you notice, like they were the hosts of the recital. Yes. They curated the experience. They taught. We had all the professional instructors still there, but the youth led the way completely. And we did that this year because even on the tables, like I had the first year paintings and pictures of the students that were there since year one on the tables because I wanted them to see their growth, but I wanted for them to see it in action. I wanted them to see themselves in action from year one. This is what you created in year one. We are now in year 4 of the summer camp, and this is what you're doing right now. And for the first time, Paz, that was my first time being able to sit in the audience and not be a part of the show, not be a part of the production and taking it online. And I was just bawling the whole show. Like
I could tell that you had really good leaders because I didn't get a phone call all summer. You didn't call, you didn't ask for my help. You know, even I was overwhelmed all summer. Yes. You know, but it was amazing. It was amazing, you know, because one of the things me and you have always talked about is growing leaders.
Yes.
You know, like now our streetwear expo is being led by Leon.
Yes.
You know, my 18-year-old, you know, he's been in our program for enough.
Yes.
He's like, I'll take the lead. You know, so seeing, you know, these young people come from where they were to where they are, and then to continue to lift as they climb.
Absolutely.
You know, is an amazing testament to your program.
Yeah.
Because what happens usually when someone comes out of their shell, they're gone.
Yeah.
Like once I'm out of my shell, I don't have time to, you know, worry about the other ducklings. but you've helped kids come out of their shell, and then also make sure to look after
Yeah.
the other ducklings.
Yes.
Is that something that's intentional?
It is. It is because here's the thing: when you're developing students, the way to do it is not through our own personal impact in their lives. It's the impact that one student has, and they can pass it on. Right? It's how you tell your friend. It's how your friends see the change that you have, and they're wondering, like, okay, how do I get to that place? And the relationship that they're building as they're growing together. So that camaraderie that they have, it's a family. So like every year we have these kids that always come back because they're looking to be back with their family, and because we have the student teacher progress that's in place in it, they want to step up. A matter of fact, it becomes like an all-out war sometimes because they all want to be student teachers, right? But they know it's a development program, so you have to take your time and be able to show like you're ready for this role in leadership. But imagine coming from a place where you're shy, you really don't want to interact, you don't want to do much, or you're just being disruptive, to now you want to lead something to the next level. Like it's so important. So even the newer ones from this year, because we expanded this year and did a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. The new students from the Boys and Girls Club, it was their first time having this level of an experience because the Boys and Girls Club are not really known for having these types of programs.
Yes.
So this really changed the dynamics of those students. And like the older students, they were like, well, Miss A, we kind of liked being in our own little building, in our own space, and not really sharing what we're doing. I was like, well, then that means you're not ready for student teaching, because student teaching is you leading others and bringing others up with you. And they're like, oh, we get it. We get it. Yeah. So it's just that mindset shift that you have to teach them to bring others along with them, because look at society that we're in right now. We have that mentality of like stepping on each other, stepping over each other, or I'm the only one that needs to shine. No, in the program, it's like you shine more together.
I love that.
You shine more together. You do better when the next person can come out of their shell. So it's a brighter light that's shining versus just your light.
And I love that you're talking about that, because when I titled this show, I said one fine feather, can change the fabric.
Yes.
One of the things that we talk is, in our generation, we said we're cut from a cloth, and they don't make that anymore.
Yeah.
So you're helping to create a new cloth for these young people, especially with all of the outside influences that are around. Because once a child has gone through your summer camp, and this has been my experience, they tend to look for that experience again. So I've seen kids who I've uh, coached through your program, and they're like, Mr. Paz, and then I see other kids that have gone through, the program, and watching them looking to teach, looking to be a part of something that is, where now, right, society has made our kids feel more individualistic. Your program seems to go against that, right? It seems to do more of creating bonds and fabrics, that allows these kids to continue to look for it. I started going to a church just so I could hang out with Eddie.
Yeah. Right.
Right? That's how it started. Like, his mom's like, will you come play chess with him? So I started going to church just so to help him. And it became good for both of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It became something we can all experience.
Yeah. You know what it is though, Paz? Look outside. Look at what's going on outside. If we don't have these little feathers, like you say, creating something that looks completely different from what's happening outside, we're doomed. We're doomed. We have to do it. And I know sometimes it's a struggle, especially, like when you start something off and you have the vision and you're implementing it, you don't always have all the tools. You don't always have, whether it's the funding and the resources, or you don't always have everything together. But it's normally the human being that steps up and says, you know what, I want to do something. That's why you've been so important in the program, because when they see you, when they hear your story and know where you come from, right, and know that you always say, like, talk about violence and violence prevention, and
Mhm.
poverty is violence, and them not having a voice is violence. When you tell them that and show them that their voices matter, and that it doesn't matter where they come from, that they can have a voice and they can be confident and step out, they need that. They need to see that. So that's why they look to you when you come around. They're smiling. They're overjoyed because they know they see themselves in you. They can relate to you. Yes, I love what we've been able to create, and what we're doing with these students now, and it's showing the impact. The impact is there, and that's all for me. That's the most important part. Like, how are these kids showing up in school every day? When I pop up in the schools and they see me in the school, oh, Miss A, they're telling me about all the amazing things that they're doing. I'm not hearing anything bad, like they're disruptive or anything like. I'm hearing that they're doing stellar. I'm hearing that there's a turnaround in behavior. I'm hearing that they're standing out. Now they want to do more things. So that's when I really know, like, it's working. It's
Yes.
working.
I said, and it's always so important, you know. Someone says you can to pay attention to the seeds that you plant,
Mhm.
right? Because the seed of poison, still grows,
Yes.
just like a
Yes.
seed of a mustard seed of faith, right? So making sure that you're planting the right seeds
Yeah.
and I know we don't always agree,
Yeah.
right? Because we're both leaders, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That you're planting the right
Yeah.
seeds,
Yeah.
right? Because you're seeing the growth of the students. You're what made me smile, and I have an affinity for Siani.
Mhm.
My silent warrior. And to watch her tell a joke. So I was late. I won't lie to you. I
Yeah.
was late to the
It's
silent
okay.
because I was everywhere. And I get there, Siani gives me a hug. I'm like, "You went to camp?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You're performing?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, let me find me a seat."
Yeah.
And to watch. And what I loved about your comedy show was it was the students least likely to
Mhm.
tell a joke.
Right.
Like if you know, Eddie, Siani, and all of the other ones, these are the ones least likely to tell a joke. I've known Siani her whole life.
Mhm.
And I think I heard her say more words on that stage than I did in the last
You're like
10
the second or
years.
third person that said
You
that.
know,
Yeah.
and this is a child that hugs me,
Yeah.
loves me, spends a lot of time with me, you know, but does not talk.
Right.
You know, I watched her and Boogie kick the crap out of people because I teach them martial arts and still not talk.
Still not talk.
You know, so for her to tell a joke with confidence,
Yeah.
not just tell a joke, but to tell a joke with confidence shows that you are doing something amazing, right? Because I was like, Seattle, you gonna tell me a joke again? Now, once you got off stage, I couldn't get a joke again.
You can get a joke again.
Not again.
Performance mode. Okay, performance mode. You have to catch her in performance mode. But here's the thing about that. You said the kids that were less likely to choose comedy, they chose it. What does that mean? It was always in them.
Amen.
It was always in them. And we don't know what's in them because sometimes they don't have the safe space or the environment that is conducive for that type of growth and that type of expression, right? One of the things I remember when I joined Allentown School Board, when I learned that the arts was removed from the performing, because studies show when kids engage in art, it activates the other side of their brains and they're doing better in math and science and reading. So if you take away the tool that activates that side of their brain, what are we seeing? What are the outcomes? Right?
Yeah.
So one of the first things we had to activate was get the arts back in the schools. And I know people are thinking like, why is that so important? Like, we are seeing the difference right now. Now, of course, it's a slow move because it's going to take time, right? Because it's been gone for years. But we are seeing they're more engaging, they're more expressing. We're seeing that they're showing up more. So arts is so important. You just have to give them the space to engage in it.
And I love that you point that out because when our children aren't allowed to be creative,
Yeah.
then they become destructive, right? Because I'm going to create. I'm just not going to create what you want me to create because I'm not focused on the right things. What made me really get involved in youth rearing again was probably 10 years ago. I was sitting in a classroom at Central Elementary School, you know, doing it was my first year doing that reading across America thing. Miss Bodner had called me in. Becky, shout out to Miss Bodner. She's like, "Can you read the Dr. Seuss books?" So read my Dr. Seuss book. I'm all, I'm animated and everything. You know me, I like to scream. I love my life and all those things. So the kids are looking at me like I'm crazy, and I go, "How many of you know that you're worthy?" And all of the third graders looked around, and I said, "How many of you ever heard that you're worthless?" And every hand went up. And I realized our kids were learning that they were worthless before they even knew what worthy meant.
Yeah.
At that moment, I was like, we have to get involved. We have to provide that space, because if I know that I'm worthless before I even know what worthy means, how do I ever strive for anything else? You know what I mean? Like, how do I ever achieve anything great if I think that I'm worthless?
Right.
So I love that you are leading the arts back into the schools, because that is so necessary.
When I tell you, like, it has been a campaign from the heart. First I started with getting fine feather in the schools before I even became a school board director, right? And that's how the family started to engage with me and tell me, like, you really need to join the school board. Like, you have a different passion and you advocate so much for students. Get involved. So I did what I needed to do from a standpoint of, like, how can I contribute to the arts being back in the school, even though it's not back in, like, the curriculum. Then after that, of course, once I got on the school board, Dr. Burks and I, we were so aligned in this because we understood the importance of making sure the arts was there. So we made sure that we got the funding necessary, whether we had to do grants, whatever it was, we got what we needed to make sure that we got the arts back into the schools. And from there, I'm going even deeper. Like, literally, I cornered the Juilliard director in New York, had a conversation with him and spoke to him about how can we get Juilliard level of programs in Allentown. If no one has been noticing, Allentown is an arts city. This is a city full of art. Everywhere you go, you see art. The kids are engaged in art. People are so engaged in art. They're so rich in culture here. So this is the heartbeat of the city. How could we not have it here? So when I spoke to them and told them about the kids and how amazing they are and how they didn't have arts for how many years and now it's back and now we want to take it to the next level, they were like, let's do it. So now we are curating something that is one of a kind for Allentown School District, where Juilliard School of Art will be a part of ASD. Now, awesome. It's already there. We're doing a professional development now with the teachers, and now we're going to take it to the next level where these kids are going to be trained, given the best of the best. Now, I see people out there and they're complaining and they're saying, like, oh, we need to cut this and we need to do that. We need to watch this. When we have that mindset of lack, that's when our kids don't grow. Amen. I don't know what they believe our kids deserve, but I believe our kids deserve the best. Whether it's the best in books, the best teachers, the best technology, the best in art, they deserve the best. And whatever I have to do to get it, I'm going to do it to get it. And sometimes it's just conversations like this one, yes. Talking to the right people, letting them know what the needs of the children are and advocating for that. Yes. So yeah, I may not be loud and in my advocacy, but I show it. Yeah. I show it, I demonstrate it, and I believe we're going in the right direction.
I definitely agree. I actually called Dr. Burks directly after your opening thing at PPNL.
Yes.
And the AI school coming. Yes. So I'm an AI consultant. Yes. I've been talking about AI since.
Yes. You're one of the early people. Yeah. People, honestly, like you were one of the early people that were like on top of AI. Like, how do we introduce the students to AI? Yes. And I remember you doing the youth entrepreneurship program, and you were introducing the students to using AI as part of the youth entrepreneurship strategy. So yes.
Yeah. So when she said that, I called. I was like, oh my god! I was like, thank you, because what happens for our people. And I love all people, but I always, when I go to sleep, I'm black. When I wake up in the morning again, I'm black.
Yeah.
Right. So for our people, we missed the digital divide the last 2 times. We missed the advent of the internet.
Yes.
When it first came on, your mom did not, especially when it was dial-up, your mom did not need you dialing up with the AOL while she needed to be on the phone. Nope, we missed that. And then we missed the Bitcoin revolution. We cannot miss the AI revolution.
Yeah, we can't. We can't.
What I explained is every day you do not find a way to implement AI into what you're doing, you're putting yourself 5 years behind. Not 5 days, not 5 months. One of the things we say all the time is it's not going to be AI that's going to, it's not going to be AI that's going to replace you. It's going to be the people that actually implement AI that's going to replace you. So for our school district to be preparing our students, not for the jobs for today, but the jobs for tomorrow, that you guys get it. Because if you prepare kids to be cashiers and all, most of those jobs won't be there.
It won't. It's already being phased out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to know what you guys are doing to lead is so amazing and so important.
So funny enough, I was watching the debate of the school board members the school board directors that are looking to join the school board, or the candidates that are looking to join the school board, and that was the topic that they brought up: AI technology and how important is it, or should we be very cautious of how we integrate it into school? And I'm listening to everyone. I'm like, I don't know if they're getting it. If we don't show them how to do it now, there is no job for them in the future. So I need people that are more forward thinking and understanding the industry and the time and climate that we're in right now. Right now, it's an AI world. So we need people that are data driven, right, in their minds. Like, are you innovative? Do you mind where you can create a software and get employees to work the software from the background? What are the jobs that are AI related that human can still do, so our children can graduate and still have jobs? They're missing the point. They're missing it. And that's the thing. Like you said, we can't miss it again. We missed the last 2 turnovers, right? And this is a community where we're predominantly Hispanic and African American in this community. We can't miss it again.
Not
right?
at all.
I have to make sure the students are prepared for the future that is ahead. Not one that we wish that would change, but the one that is obviously here already, right? It's obviously here already. How are we preparing those students? Are we giving them the technology? Are we giving them the training? Are we teaching them how to prompt these AI tools? Not to let it replace your own mind, but to use it to develop your own ideas and your innovation and what's going on, so you can get ahead of the game.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
That's so important. And let me clap again for you saying that out loud, because what happens, right? And this is so important, right? Is that if we think we can ignore AI, we are in the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the time of the Terminator. So if you don't learn how to work with, and that's why our youth are going to be so much more important than any other time, because these kids are going to be born with AI.
Yeah.
Where we, if you're our age, I'm still party line. Who remember party line, right? Long phone line, you know what I mean? Call a homie to call a homie, and now 12 of y'all on the phone, right? These kids are gonna grow up with not just this but everything that's within it is gonna be natural. My granddaughter is autistic and nonverbal, but you
fluent in that.
Fluent in the phone. Fluent. Don't even. Her mom be like, I don't even know how she did that. I'm like, so it's gonna be important for us to be able to teach our youth, but more importantly, can we learn from it?
You know what's so funny? Evolution is happening in here, but not out here.
Yeah.
It's because the kids are coming. Boogie, your favorite Boogie, came out like that. Literally knew how to work, and I'm like, how is it possible? There's an evolution that's happening that we're not even addressing, and that's why the Fine for the program was so important. Because I'm like, how are all these kids so deep in technology? How do they come out just knowing these things? How are they so versed in all of these things? How is the arts like so like come so easy to them? Because you notice that early, right? We have a unique value proposition, which means we're meeting them where they are. We have something unique that we can give them because no one else is giving that to them. No one else is. Who is really meeting them there?
Yeah.
Everyone is more against it, saying, no, they shouldn't be in this. Like, no, I'm meeting them where they are because right now you can't even have a conversation with them without that phone device in their hand. So how do I meet you where you are, where you learn how to even express yourself through that, but also to the point where you get comfortable to even leave the device alone and have a regular, natural conversation
Yeah.
with me.
And that's so true. Like to meet them where they are is so important. I remember 2 summers ago, um, there was a program that they were trying to do to get the kids to go out and play more
Yes.
because all of the city basketball courts were empty.
Yeah.
Like you can come around the daytime, take a picture, and they were all empty. You know, and every idea, every solution that they came up with, you can tell came from someone our age.
Mhm.
I'm like, that sounds old. They're like, look, what do you mean that sounds old? I'm like, that sounds like St. Avenue.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's wrong with that? I'm like, because I'm 50. You know what I mean? That's an issue. You know what I mean? Like how I thought at 13 versus how I think at 50 is totally different. So you can tell that they didn't take any moment at that time to listen to the
No.
kids, to hear what they
No
wanted.
interest forms, no focus groups, no conversation. See, here's the thing that us nonprofit people do, right? We go into neighborhoods and we tell people what they need, right? We're not asking them like, what do you need? What's going on in your community? So you can find the gaps that are missing. You're going in and you're saying like, hey, I have this program. You need this. Come. And then when they don't show up, when they don't engage, when they're not taking your surveys, when all of these things are, you're wondering why? Because you did not have a conversation. You didn't have a focus group. You did not ask them, what are you looking for? What are your needs? And then meeting them there. We can't do that. So that's how, when we started the program, literally, I saw what was happening, but I sent out interest forms. Even in the schools, when we do the after school program, that's the first thing we do. We send interest forms. What programs are you interested in? We have 10 programs, but check the ones that you want to do. And they check it off, and that's what we provide. We don't come in and tell them, oh, we have this program and you're going to do it. No, the interest form dictates what we provide. And that's what needs to happen. Nonprofits need to switch that, but it's about to get switched because right now we have no choice.
Yeah, I mean, without the funding,
Yes.
so I'm so glad I am not a nonprofit. So even though people think I am because I do a lot of community
Yeah.
work, we are a for-profit corporation.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, we pay for our stuff. They're like,
Mhm.
"What?" Like we robbed from Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we really wanted to see change in our community. We do have a nonprofit, but we closed it immediately
Mm.
when I opened up One Big Smile, and we started to go get funding. And then someone said there was 10,000. There are 10,000 nonprofits in this area.
Yep.
I said, "Oh, I'm just part of the problem." You know what I mean? Like, let me show you that nonprofit, for-profit, government could work together. So I don't even talk about One Big Smile.
Mm.
I only talk about Big Happy because why be part of the problem? Why create one more nonprofit, right? And of course, not there are tons of nonprofits that don't really fit
Yeah.
what I do. So I work with them. I work with the ones that do, right?
Yeah.
I work with one that does feeding, right?
Yeah.
She don't like telling people what she does, so I won't scream her name. But I run a food bank for
Right.
someone, right?
Right.
We have, I've been behind the scenes for Fine Feather from the
Right.
beginning, but it doesn't help, right? When we are doing what you said, just going into spaces and places and telling people
Yeah.
what to do. Our kids are so much smarter than we think they are.
It's so funny. Full confession. If God never led me to start a nonprofit, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have. I would have partnered with a nonprofit and worked under that nonprofit to get the work done. Because again, like you said, 10,000 nonprofits that exist, not enough collaboration between them, right? One of the things that happens sometimes they see something that's working and they duplicate it instead of saying, hey, where is the gap that this person isn't filling that I can help cap and we can partner,
Mhm.
right? Like finding six, it was important for us. Like we know, like okay, we want to do mental health work, and we're very versed in the arts, and I have all these experts. But how do I get these behavioral therapists to come on board to support these kids? How do I get these coaches? How do I get these mental health support? Going to the experts in those areas to partner together to get the work done.
Mhm.
That's how you really have impact. So right now, someone's seeing a gap in them thinking like, oh, let me go start my own nonprofit. No, find a larger umbrella nonprofit that's not doing that particular thing. Go to them, bring them a proposal to show them your data that supports that what you're trying to present will work, and partner with them and get the work done. And you don't not, and I've seen you do it successfully. You don't have to go out there and start a nonprofit. But for us, once God told me like you're doing this,
And
that was
again,
it.
and for I tell people all the time, follow your ministry.
Yeah.
So for you, the nonprofit was your ministry. For
Hmm.
me, that wasn't the ministry; it
Right.
was a vehicle.
Right.
So I can get out of that vehicle
Mm.
and travel anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because my thing has always been ending poverty,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, those kinds of things. So I didn't need my vehicle
Yeah.
for that. My LLC, if anything,
Yeah.
right, could carry certain things. And if I needed a grant or forever, uh, fiscal sponsors,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and I don't think people understand how much it benefits both you and your fiscal sponsor
Yeah.
to partner,
Right.
right? Because I bring a lot of programming to fiscal sponsors that they get to now control that data,
Yeah.
right? I own my data,
Yeah.
but they can control the data I give them,
Right.
right? Which allows them to get more money, more recognition, and different things, especially when you're someone like me who doesn't look for recognition,
Yeah.
right? Like I, I'd have built Fine Feather and did everything we did forever, and no one would have known I was a part of it. Because I always tell you, please don't give me an award. Please don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't need none of that stuff. God knows. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah. For sure.
like I don't need none of that. As long as you know,
Right.
look, Boogie give me a hug every time he see me. You know what I mean? Those are the things. Because if you're doing it for the right reasons,
Yeah.
you don't always need a award.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I always tell people the only credit I ever need is credit cards, credit lines.
Mm.
Like if those aren't being extended to me, then please give somebody else
Yeah.
the credit. So I love that you've done a great job of one empowering your youth,
Yeah.
but two empowering your team.
Yeah.
Marisol,
Listen.
Anna, and then you took my baby, Anise,
Okay, listen.
you know, but
My team is like the backbone. That they are, when I tell you, passionate about kids above and beyond. Like, listen, I have the best team ever. And the thing is, we're not a huge team. but we are warriors. Like the impact we've been able to have when it's just the small team that we have, like move mountains with little. Move mountains with little. So shout out to my team, Miss Anna, Maris. Oh God, if I go down the road and start naming everybody, you're gonna get me in trouble. Okay,
Yeah,
like listen, shout out to every single one of you guys, anybody that contributed fine. And I'm telling you, my team has their stores, and there's no funding. People don't know that. There's times where and I'm talking about still showing from the Poconos, okay? When it was in the middle of like no grant funding in that time. We're sitting and waiting for it to come through, waiting, but my team was still showing up for these kids, and I appreciate them from the bottom of my heart because I don't know where we would be. I don't know if we would have the impact that we have, but it's people like them that allow us to be able to do what we do.
Yes. And I tell you, the time goes quickly. So before we're already 45 minutes in.
Look at that.
I tell you, time go quick. So let's make sure we tell people how they can contribute, how to find feather. Because more importantly, you can't do good work without funding, unfortunately. And with grant season, not what it was last year, we have to rely more on people who want to make a difference.
Absolutely.
Collaboration is key, but tell them how to find you, how they can donate.
So you can go to findfeatherfoundation.org and you can donate right there. As a matter of fact, you can see all our programs that we provided. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, we now have the SHE program. The SHE program that was a staple of community action Lehigh Valley. Due to funding, they lost and the loss of capacity. They weren't able to continue that program. So now we have been asked to take on the SHE program. We have gladly taken on that mantle, which I know is going to be difficult, but if God tells me to do something, I'm going to do it. Anna Tiburcio is now the new director of the SHE program, and we're looking forward to expanding that program and continuing to grow with that. So you can learn more about all our programs at findfeatherfoundation.org. You can donate. There's a link there. You can donate to our PayPal, but learn more about our program. You can send us an email as well. There's a direct link for you to get information to send us email as well. If you'd like to follow us, all social media platforms, the work that we do, you can go to Find Feather Foundation on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on TikTok. Am I missing anything? No, I think we're on all the platforms that you can go. And on our YouTube channel, Find Feather Foundation, you will get to see all the videos. The video that he was talking about with the kids doing comedy, all the videos are there that you can see the kids live in action. So, and you can follow me at Andrene Nicole on Facebook, Andrene _ Nicole on Instagram, Andrene Nowell on LinkedIn. That's me.
That was important because we want to make sure that as people are hearing your story and watching the replay, people are going to go, now how do I give? And we didn't stop to do that.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that we make that those who want to give have an opportunity to give, because like I said, this growth has been rapid, and I've seen your team move mountains. Even when your team just consisted of me, you and your husband, out here. So, I've seen it move mountains, and I've seen the growth, of the team. But more importantly, I've seen the lives that have been touched. Jules Johnson's daughter,
Ayla.
That shy baby has blossomed into something that is so amazing. And it's so funny because like you talk about your peer program. She was like, I'm gonna be a counselor next year, Mr. Pass. And I'm like, and I start cracking up. I'm like, really? But she, she's grown into,
and she held my feet to the fire on that. She was not playing. She said, Miss A, I'm ready. She said, all my peers are now student teachers. It's my turn. And I'm like, okay, Emma, let's let's do it. Let's test it out. And she did a phenomenal job this year. You know, like even with the growing pains of the transition, because sometimes, you know, when they get the leadership position, they're like, okay, how do I assert my authority, even though I have friends and peer mates that are like my age group, but they're not student teachers. How do I balance that? So they're learning a different level of maturity there. And I love to see how she navigated that. Like even in one of her friendships that became like a little bit of a tug of war because she was trying to balance between the friendship and leading, and how she navigated that space. And she was just like, you know what, I just feel like I need to step back for a second, so I can really process it, so I can learn how to navigate it. Just learning those tools, those little simple tools was amazing.
And it's so important. And what's so important about this is that you normally only learn those kinds of tools, unfortunately, in the gang life.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Because people, when I talk to my young gang members, what are the first things they learn? They learn how to think on their feet.
Yeah.
They learn management skills.
Yeah.
They learn branding. They learn, and then they learn it at a level of, if you mess up, that could be your life.
Yeah.
So you're giving these kids the same things the streets would have tried to give it to them, but it would have gave it to them in such a warped way.
Yeah.
That it would have been so hard for them to find their way back. For every Jose, there is.
That's what just came to my mind.
For every Jose, there are 50 or 60 people that didn't make it.
Yeah.
For every milestone that he climbs, there are 100 to 200 that just didn't pass.
So Jose had to step in for you this year.
Yes, I know.
Jose was teaching art, and he was, oh my God, he was brilliant at it, because the way he used the art as the tool to address their mental health, and the way he connected his story and the streets and the things that he gone through to relate it to what these kids were going through, because some of them were navigating that, right? The way he did it came out so brilliant. And it was so funny because we were working on like this new curriculum that I was forming. And I said I said, you know what, I need to iron out the kinks of this curriculum, but I can't be the one that facilitates this. I need someone else to do it and give me feedback on it. And Jose was the person. When I tell you, he implemented the curriculum, and he gave me back the curriculum with all these notes that the kids gave. They were just like, oh, we like this, but we didn't really like this section. We want to do this. I think if we did this, like all the feedback from the kids that he gave. And now we have this beautiful curriculum that we're going to incorporate in the next season. But that is awesome. Literally, it was something that it was a joint venture, but for him he was the perfect person to do that. That is awesome, and this is the first year we didn't teach chess in the school district, so we'll be back this summer. We took on so much. Yeah. But yeah, he's had the opportunities to be able to teach for so long to you. Because the first thing I made him teach was a group of kindergartners how to play chess. When he didn't have the patience. So you have to develop the patience when you're teaching kindergartners chess. Yeah. Because chess is a thinking game. It's a thinking game. You're talking about 5-year-olds who just don't even want to sit down. And he's like, I'll take the older kids. I'm like, nope. You get the kids. Yeah. And I love that he was able to help this group of students find their path. Yeah. Right? Because it's always and what I love about what you're doing over there is that there's going to be a group of people or a group of students who may not relate to Miss A, may not relate to Mr. D, may not relate to Miss Anna, but you're willing to bring in other personalities that they may be willing to relate to allow them to find their way, because I had a group when I was there, not this summer, but the past summer, that were a little rambunctious, start with Tony's kids, but we were able to, by me allowing them to be themselves, it allowed them by the end of the summer to really be real leaders in your program. Yeah. But it takes some confidence, right? Since we're here in the Moxie, it takes some moxie, right, to
to allow someone to step into your program and not feel threatened. You know what I mean? Because I'm in your world.
Yeah.
You know, and for most people, they would have told you, "Oh, he may take your kids." You know, because I do kids programming.
Right.
You know, you don't know what he's there for. He might be taking your kids. You know, but you were confident enough to allow me to deal with some of your older morals.
Yeah.
And not worry about whether I was going to leverage them for myself.
Yeah.
Or try to do anything that was detrimental to your vision.
You know what? It's a mindset. It's a mindset thing. Because what is take your kids? Right? What is take your kids? If I have kids in my program and they start to engage in your program and they feel like your program is a better fit, when did it become like this thing where it's like, oh, they can only be a part of the, and if they can't be, no, it's where do you see yourself and where can you grow the most, right? Because I'm doing this and it's a calling for me, right? I don't approach things in the mindset the way other people do. For me, it's impact, however they get it. When facilitators come on board with me, right? And they're all contractors and some of them do their own thing, right? Star, Jacinth has Star, and I sat down with Jacinth and told Jacinth, this is the program God showed me, right? How can we create something together that is going to work for the Excelsior students, right? Outside of Fine Feather, Jacinth does I forgot what it's called.
Impact Awards.
No, she does the Impact Awards, the InnerStar Impact Awards. She has this empowerment thing that she does with the older generation, right? She does all these other things. She has other programs outside of it. I can't stop Jacinth from doing all the things that God is telling her that she's supposed to be doing and telling her like, oh, you're working with Fine Feather, so you can only do this, or you can't work with these students, or you the kids that you impact in my program, you can't take them to go and work in your other program that you have. No, it's about development. It's about keeping these kids off the streets, okay? Keeping them engaged. I don't have them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I have after school brackets and I have summer camp brackets. In between those, what are they doing? On weekends, what are they doing? When I have them from Monday through Thursday, what happens on Friday, Saturday, Sunday? What are they engaged in? Are they doing sports? Are they doing youth entrepreneurship on Saturdays at 10 o'clock? What are they doing? And that's why it worked, because we're filling the gaps. We're keeping the kids engaged, and we're making sure that they don't fall through the cracks. So yeah, it's a mindset thing. I can't have that mindset of like, who's coming in to take the kids? Who's trying to duplicate my program? Who's trying to? Because at the end of the day, like, I believe when God gives you something to do, like, Amen. If you do it well and with excellence, you won't go anywhere. You won't go anywhere. It will thrive and it will be there as a resource for the kids.
And I always tell people, if someone does something that I'm doing, imitation is the best form of flattery. Because you'll never be just me.
Right.
You'll have your own version of it, your own flavor of
right.
it. It's never going to come off just like me.
Yeah.
So I don't get upset. They're like, oh, that person did what?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he didn't. He did something similar, But I don't want, because again, time flies. I don't want the whole thing to go by and me not give you your flowers, right? Your flowers for the Caribbean Music Awards.
Oh.
Right? People don't, congratulations for seeing it on BET this year.
Yes.
People don't know that your family, were some of the minds and the hearts behind bringing that together. I think a lot of times because you do nonprofit work, because you do community work, people don't realize you also got to pay your bills. Right?
No, because if you run a nonprofit, you're supposed to suffer, you're supposed to struggle, you're supposed to be poor, you're supposed to be on the poverty. Like that's the craziest thing, right? It's we're trying to end poverty, right? We're trying to end poverty. We're trying to teach people financial wealth and how to take care of themselves and stabilize yourself and break generational curses and build generational wealth. But the people that are teaching you to do it are supposed to be struggling. I don't know who put that face on nonprofit or who put that face on people that are servants and change agents, but like that's not my portion that God wants for me. When I started this nonprofit, people don't know this. You know the story. I gave up everything to start that nonprofit. I walked away from everything. I was a business manager for 20 years, successfully helping people to build multi-million-dollar businesses. I was in the entertainment industry, ghost fighting for people that you would not even believe. Okay, I was doing all of these things. No one knew, and I walked away from it to start a nonprofit. So I went through the years of struggle. I went through the years of the food stamps. I went through the years of needing some kind of assistance when I had to move and they bumped up my rent three times the price. Okay, because that was happening a couple of years ago in Allentown. Mm-hmm. I went through all of that struggle. The year that I did the first year of summer camp, people don't know that I received a notice on my home saying it's time for you to move up out of here because we want you to triple the rent. We're going to triple the rent and we know you can't afford it. And I was in the middle of that transition and I showed up every day for the kids. I didn't know where I was going to move to. I didn't know if I could afford it. And guess what? The community showed up for me and God showed up for me. Amen. God showed up for me. And in that season, I gave up everything. I emptied out my 401k to start Fine Feather Foundation, to start the clothing company that fed the nonprofit to keep it going before there was even grant funding. And then Dan Bosket found me in a park, bawling my eyes out. And that was a Sunday I will never forget. It was a Sunday where I was praying to God and I was like, God, you told me to do this. You told me to give up everything. You told me to start this nonprofit and nothing's happening. My family is about to be thrown out on the street. They're looking at me like I'm crazy because I have the opportunity to make all this money to take care of them. What are we doing here? And I met you and Dan Bosket that day in that park, and it changed my life. Changed my life. So no, I am no longer struggling in that area. God has provided for me. He has made a way for me. Caribbean Music Awards is doing well, thank God. I'm one of the founders of the award show. And there's other avenues that God has called me to. I'm doing ministry. I'm an apostle, right? I'm traveling to other countries now, and I'm implementing programs like the one that I'm doing for Fine Feather. People don't know that. I recently went to Liberia. I recently went to Nigeria, and I implemented programming there. Awesome. That's what I'm doing. I'm showing them tools. I'm introducing them to mental health support because these places are not places that really believe in mental health support for years, right? It's like suck it up, live in silence, don't talk about it type of culture that happens in these countries. Mm-hmm. And I'm going there to debunk all of that and implementing programs that's going to work for the children. So, yeah, it may seem like, she's just a schoolboy brother. Like there's so many things that God has called me to that I'm working on, but all of it and most of it, I think is children related. Like my passion is the next generation, training them up to step into my shoes. Because if there's not another Paz or another Andrene, what happens?
Well, I'm so blessed that I got so many little seedlings around here. I'm not worried about me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because people don't realize, and that's the great thing about when you do it for the right reasons. But people don't realize how many people you poured into. I've been poured into people for so long that Nice Jones, Stephen Watson, mm-hmm. He said, "Hey Paz, you know my first internship was working for you." I said, I'm not old. He's like, yeah, he's like, you weren't much older than me, but working for your record label.
Yeah.
I was like, man, but when you're doing it for the right reason, you don't think about who you've impacted.
Yeah.
You just know that you've made an impact, So I thank you, right, for stepping into a city that's not your own, mm-hmm. for making it your home.
Yeah, it's my own now.
and really, taking on a fight that you didn't have to, right? It's easy to, like you said, you could have gone back, said, God, maybe you made a mistake. I'm going to go write these songs. That's like when I first started open it up. When I first did my prayer line, it's like, it was the only time I was homeless. Like, I taken away from me for 3 days. I was homeless for 3 days. I'm like,
Like, God, what's this? It's like, I was like, I gotta. It's like, you're cheap, so you're not gonna rent a hotel room. I was like, you're right. You know, like you go just sleep in the park because you're cheap. You're right. You know what I mean? But it was one of those things. You're like,
Yeah.
huh?
How?
Like,
How?
you know, like I was.
Especially when you're doing it for God. Right? When you're doing it for God and you go through like the struggles, you're literally like, me though, like really? And he's just like, yeah, why not you? So you can speak up for them, so you can advocate for them. Like why not you?
Yes, I was homeless while paying other people's rent. My employees getting. I'm sitting in the park, like I just gave them this much money to pay their rent, and I'm like, God, how? You know, but at what I realized at that moment, I was starting the prayer line. I wasn't really ready, so I spent 2 days in the park really studying pastors online and on YouTube. So you know, I came out a different person, right? But you never know why you're going through the season.
Yeah.
You just know it ain't sunny outside right now. You just know, you know it's raining, it's snowing. You don't feel the sun, right? You're like, well, why? But all of those seasons, right? We need winter to enjoy spring, right? We need summer in order to have fall. So we need all of these different seasons. But when we're in the midst of it, right, we don't understand it. And we don't hear that.
Yeah.
You know.
No.
So I wanted to make sure, because as we talked about Fine Feather and we touched on you being the school board president, I don't think anyone, you know, because I remember somebody because you know BET took off the Hip Hop Awards this year.
Yes, and that was another thing too. They took off the Hip Hop Awards. They took off
and Soul Train.
They
took off the Hip Hop Awards.
We're on it.
And then someone's like, but then they're gonna replace it with the Caribbean Awards and start going in. I was like, don't you talk about my sister stuff? Yeah, they didn't even know. They're like, huh? Like I just thought my Twitter finger just. I was like, oh, this is what James Harden and them be doing.
Yeah,
like my fingers.
But you know what? But I have to stay away from that because, like, here's the thing, right? That those two award shows were flourishing for how many years? Why can't we get a shot? Like, why can't we get a shot? Like Caribbean culture. I'm a Caribbean girl. I'm born in Jamaica. The culture is here. I'm from a melting pot in New York, where I'm so used to all cultures and all backgrounds being around. So, like, why can't we be represented as well on a national platform?
So, what I explained to someone, because you know I study money. The difference between the Caribbean Music Awards, the Soul Train Music Awards, the BET Hip Hop Awards was you guys came with your own money, sponsors, and everything else. Everyone else needed BET in order to flourish and move on. So you guys. So it's a benefit.
It was self-funded for 2 years.
Yes.
2 years. We had our sponsors that came on board, but we did it on our own for 2 years. It was just live streamed for 2 years, but we were doing it on a large capacity, just like these award shows. We just did not have a platform for it. BET saw the caliber of work that we were doing and approached us about the partnership. So it's one of those things like. Sometimes you have to. I love. What's the title of your show?
Don't have to be perfect.
Don't have to be perfect. We weren't perfect the first year. We weren't perfect the second year, but we stepped out on faith. Right. Amen. Sometimes you have to invest in yourself. You can't wait for them to get the vision and the idea. Right. Sometimes you have to like self-fund, or sometimes you have to find partners that are willing to come on board and do it. We did that for 2 years. Year 3, bam, BET decided. We're going to partner with you guys to take this to the next level. Next year is probably going to be bigger, but next year you guys probably not going to even see me on that stage next year, to be honest, because like I know next year, like I already see God is about to take me in a different direction next year, especially with the global work that I've been doing. But just to see the growth of it all, but people don't know the sacrifice behind the scenes. People don't know that there's how many bills to be paid. That's a show that costs close to $1 million. To produce. Like it's not a small scale show. They're really bringing in Caribbean celebrities to come and do the show. It's a high level production. Like all of it it takes a lot of money to do it. So yeah, I'm so happy that this year we have BT on board, and from those eyes, I know other sponsors are going to come on board to support us and take this to the next level. But it's all about showing the diaspora the efforts and the arts and the culture and what we've contributed, because we have been contributing a lot, but not getting the recognition.
Yeah. So I told y'all time will go by way too fast. So I want to make sure before we go through how we normally end our show, please tell them how they can support you again, how they can find
Yes.
and all of this.
So you can visit us at findfeatherfoundation.org. You can donate through the website. If you would like to follow us on social media, it's Find Feather Foundation on all platforms. Yes, we've been doing this work for 5 years now, going on 6 years, having great major impact because of the support and the team that we have together. But we need your partnership. This year has been a difficult year for a lot of nonprofits. Funding is frozen all over the place. By the grace of God, we've still been able to continue the work by pulling out bootstraps on and really getting the collaboration necessarily. Like this year, the reason why we collaborated this year with so many people is because we all saw the need. We all decided we were not going to abandon these kids. And we said, let's pool our resources together. Boys and Girls Club, what do you have? You have the building? Cool. What do we have? Programming? Cool. Let's partner. Let's partner with everybody to get the job done. So if you would like to partner with Find Feather Foundation, if you see something that we might be missing, or you just want to help or support, you can contact us, info@findfeatherfoundation.org. You can reach out to us as well, and let's get to work.
I love it. I'm always partnering because
yes,
I understand and shout out to my mentor who passed away, Bernie Dorman. What he used to always say is collaboration is the key to success.
Yes.
So and being that he had 200,000 students when he passed away, I think I'll listen.
I want millions passed.
Yeah, he had 200,000 students, but his 200,000 students were some of the most impactful people in the world.
Yeah.
The lady that discovered Oprah, like the dude that invented Bugle Boy jeans, the guy who invented the iCloud, like.
I just got the chills.
Like you know what I mean? Like when you listen, and I always tell people I was so blessed because he had 200,000 students, but he only called one of them son. That was me. When he passed away,
you're like the lady at the well.
Yeah.
Okay, when Jesus was like daughter.
Yeah. It was so funny because like when we went our separate ways, to, for me to really start my company, and everyone's like, oh. It's not going to be the same because you don't work for him anymore. Yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? I never worked for him. Like, but you worked at his company. I was like, I never worked for him. We had an agreement from the very beginning. You know what I mean? So when it was time for me to go, it was time for me to go. Yeah. Like, done what I could. It's like, I love you. And our relationship never changed. People are like, he still answers your call. He still comes to your stuff. I'm like, yes. Like, why wouldn't he? Like, what? You don't. But I just know that God had something, like, because we met in prayer.
Yeah.
We didn't meet in business. We met in prayer. Like, he's like, and when I became a part of his organization, it's because I stumbled into a room when they were about to pray. He's like, he's like, we're about to pray. We don't normally invite people into our prayer circle. I'm like, you going to kick me out of prayer? He's like, no, join us. Like how you gonna kick me out of prayer? Like no,
can't beat that, man.
And that's how we became mentor and mentee because God made that happen. Like I walked there, I was like, you gonna kick me out of prayer? And when God has a calling, nothing can stop it.
Listen, God has been amazing to me, so faithful. Like everybody around me just said, like, you love God differently. Like you have like a different thing going on with God. Like, no, like literally, like I'm a weirdo. Like I hear from God audibly. Like we have conversations, all of that. I'm led by God in everything that I do. And I felt like he's never led me astray. Like any mistake I've made is because like I did not listen to his voice. And I tripped up, and even when I tripped up, he picked me back up and kept me going, kept me going. So I'm like, I'm truly grateful for that God took me from everything. You know, like when I tell people my story, they're like, "You really left that? You really did that?" Like, you don't even know. It sounds glamorous. I was struggling. Okay, I was struggling. It was not the best place for me to be. The entertainment industry is full of snakes and fools and craziness. Okay, and I could have gotten wrapped in that so crazy. And I was heading down a path that he knew he did not want his daughter on. Amen. So when he snatched me out of there and told me, "Hey, start Fine Feather Foundation," I did it willingly. Yes, it was a sacrifice. Yes, there was a couple of years of struggle. Like, oh God, I thought I was going crazy. Like my family thought I was going crazy, but they look at it now, they're just like, wow, that's what it looks like to be guided by God and have an outcome like this. And I wouldn't change it for anything. I don't care if people say certain things. I don't care. If God says, well done, keep going, you're on the right track, I'm good. I'm good. And I know, listen, I know I'm going to impact millions of kids. I know I'm going to build schools. I just know it. And it's not about me. It's about the impact that it's going to have. It's about the impact it's going to have. And I'm not going to be the one running the schools. It's going to be other people. Other amazing people that don't have the opportunity, that have the innovation and the witty ideas and the call and the passion for children. They're going to be running the school. I'm just going to be the vehicle that helps them do it. Amen. That's it.
Amen. Yeah. Amen. Amen. That is a great vision to have.
Yeah.
That's such a wonderful vision. And I told you this hour will go by way too quickly.
Yeah.
Before we end, I'm going to ask you to do what we've asked all of our guests to do with me, and that's say my personal manifesto. So I'm going to say it out for you fully through, and then we'll do it in call and response.
Okay.
So my personal manifesto goes like this. I love me. I'm worthy. Some people may not like me, but I don't care, because the people that matter will be glad that I'm here. So I love me.
I love me.
I'm worthy.
I'm worthy.
Some people may not like me.
Some people may not like me.
But I don't care.
But I don't care.
Because the people that matter.
Because the people that matter
will be glad that I'm here.
Will be glad that I'm here.
And yes, we are glad, Miss Nowell, that you spent this time with us. We are so grateful that you have built Fine Feather Foundation. I am grateful that you let me hug on my boogie. We are so grateful for your family, everything that you're doing. We're grateful that you stepped out of your comfort zone and built the Caribbean Music Awards. And I didn't want people to go past, right, and not realize that someone said that you have to be in New York to build something big. And I said, that's not true. And you're proof that can happen even
not
in a
true,
small.
I left New York.
Yeah, me too.
And came out here.
And I told people when I was the biggest in the music industry, when I was sitting in Allentown, sitting in New York, no one knew me. So
Caribbean Elite magazine birthed in Allentown. Caribbean Musical was birthed in Allentown. Fine Feather Foundation birthed in Allentown. Like, I was here when those things were birthed. So
I hear that.
Yeah. So before people think like, oh, she's from New York and she's none of those things started in New York. It started here. Here.
And we are so grateful that you were able to share that with us.
Yeah.
Because there's someone that needed to know that. Mm-hmm. And we are grateful that this was another Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, we had Miss Andrene Nowell. We have another exciting guest for you coming next week. I'm going to keep that a surprise for you. But know that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to get started. And we want to thank Miss Nowell and tell Boogie I stole his mom for an hour.
I was leaving out. He was just like, okay, love you.
Oh, my Boogie. crazy. So this is the actual flyer for.
I like this. So I'm gonna connect you with a couple of our youth that's doing like some really big
Yeah.
things.
So that's why I wanted you to have it. I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah.